Hot air balloon that could go to space with the air like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Here come bad news, talking this and that. Well, give me all you got and don't hold it back. Well, I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. No offense to you, don't waste your time.
Today we are featuring favorites from Dr. Seuss,
We are proud to present Dr. Seuss's 500 Hats of Bartholomew Cubbins.
followed by Dr. Seuss's Green Eggs and Ham, and finally The Cat in the Hat by Dr. Seuss.
And now, please enjoy Dr. Seuss's 500 Hats
Of
Bartholomew
Cubbins.
In the beginning, Bartholomew didn't have 500 hats. He had just one hat. It was an old one that belonged to his father and his father's father before him. It was probably the oldest and the plainest hat in the whole kingdom of Did, where Bartholomew Cubbins lived. But Bartholomew liked it, especially because of the feather that always pointed straight up in the air.
Just after sunrise one Saturday morning, Bartholomew started for town. He felt very happy. A pleasant breeze whistled through the feather in his hat. In his right hand, he carried a basket of cranberries to sell at the market. He was anxious to sell them quickly and bring the money back to his parents. He walked faster and faster till he got to the gates of the town. The sound of silver trumpets rang through the air. Hoofbeats clattered on the cobbled streets.
Clear the way! Clear the way! Make way for the king! Hats off to the king!
On came the king's carriage, white and gold and purple, but suddenly its mighty brakes shrieked. It lurched, and then it stopped. Bartholomew could hardly believe what he saw. Through the side window of the carriage, the king himself was staring back, straight at him. The king leaned from his carriage window and fixed his eyes directly on Bartholomew Cubbins.
Well, I ought to say something, but I can't think of anything to say. Well, do you or do you not take your hat off before your king? Yes, indeed, sire. I do take my hat off before my king. Then take it off this very instant. But, sire, my hat is off. Such impudence! How dare you stand there and tell me your hat is off? I don't like to say you are wrong, sire, but you see, my hat is off. See, here it is, in my hand. If that's your hat in your hand, what's that on your head? On my head?
There did seem to be something on his head. He reached up his hand and touched a hat.
It's a hat, sire, but it can't be mine. Someone behind me must have put it on my head. I don't care how it got there. You take it off.
Bartholomew quickly snatched off the hat. He stared at it in astonishment. It was exactly the same as his own hat, the same size, the same color, and it had exactly the same feather.
By the crown of my fathers, did I or did I not command you to take off your hat? You did, sire. I took it off. I took it off twice. Nonsense! There is still a hat upon your head. Another hat? Come, come. What is the meaning of all this? I don't know, sire. It never happened to me before. Arrest this impudent trickster. We'll teach him to take off his hat.
And so Bartholomew was whisked away to the castle, where he was ordered to follow the black carpet, till he stood in the middle of the throne room. The king, in a long scarlet robe, was sitting on the throne. Beside him stood Sir Alaric, keeper of the king's records.
Young man, I'll give you one more chance. Will you take off your hat for your king? Your Majesty, I will. But I'm afraid it won't do any good.
And he took off his hat, and it didn't do any good. Another hat sat on Bartholomew's head. He took off hat after hat till he was standing in the middle of a great pile of hats.
Heavens, he's taken off 45.
And there were 3 more down in the town.
And you must add on 87 more that blew off my head as we galloped up the hill.
135 hats. Most unusual.
Come, Sir Alaric. What do you make of all this nonsense?
Very serious nonsense, Your Majesty. I advise you to call in an expert on hats.
Excellent! Ho, God! Fetch in Sir Snips, maker of hats for all the fine lords.
Into the throne room marched the smallest man, wearing the tallest hat that Bartholomew had ever seen. It was Sir Snips.
Take a look at this boy's hats.
Your Majesty, I, Sir Snips, am the maker of hats for all the fine lords. Make hats of cloth, of gold, fine silks, gems, and ostrich plumes. You ask me what I think of this hat? Pooh! It is the most ordinary hat I have ever set eyes on.
In that case, it should be very simple for you to take it off.
Simple indeed.
And standing on his tiptoes, he pushed his pudgy thumb at Bartholomew's hat and knocked it to the floor. Immediately, another appeared on Bartholomew's head, and with that, he turned and ran shrieking out of the throne room.
Dear me, if Snips can't do it, this must be more than an ordinary hat.
136. Your Majesty, I advise that you call in your wise man.
A fine idea. Ho, God, bring me Nad. Nad knows everything in all my kingdom.
In came in an old man. He looked at the hat on Bartholomew's head, and he looked at the pile of hats on the floor.
Nad, my wise man, can you take off this hat?
Nad shook his head solemnly. Solemnly, no.
Then fetch me the father of Nad. He knows about everything in all my realm, and in all the world beyond.
In came an even older man, but when he looked at Bartholomew's hats, the father of Nad merely locked his fingers across his beard and said nothing.
Then bring me the father of Nad. He knows about everything in all my kingdom, in all the world beyond, and in all of the worlds that may happen to be.
Then came the oldest man of them all, but he just looked at Bartholomew and nibbled nervously at the end of his beard.
Does this mean there is no one in my whole kingdom who can take off this boy's hat?
What's the matter, Uncle Derwin?
The king stepped out on the balcony and leaned over the marble railing.
There's a boy near, just about your age. He won't take off his hat.
I'll fix him.
Well, maybe you can. There's no harm trying.
And 2 of the king's own guards led Bartholomew out of the throne room.
Pooh! That hat won't come off. You stand over there in the corner where the wall curves out. I need a little target practice with my bow and arrow.
When Bartholomew saw that Wilfred had only a child's toy, he didn't feel frightened.
I can shoot with my father's big bow.
My bow's plenty big for shooting hats, especially hats like yours.
And he let an arrow fly. Zzz! It grazed Bartholomew's forehead and nipped off his hat. Away it blew and over the parapet, but another hat appeared on his head. Zzz, zzz, zzz. The arrows flew till the whole bag full of arrows was gone, and still a hat sat upon Bartholomew's head.
It's not fair. It's not fair.
154 hats.
These hats are driving me mad. Why waste time with a child's bow and arrow? Fetch me the mightiest bow and arrow in all my realm. Fetch the yeoman of the bowmen.
A gigantic man strode out across the terrace. His bow was as big as the branch of a tree. His arrow was twice as long as Bartholomew and thicker than his wrist.
Yeoman of the bowmen, shoot off this boy's hat and make it stay off.
Bartholomew was trembling so hard that he could scarcely stand straight. The yeoman of the bowmen bent back his mighty bow. Grr-zip! Like a mad giant hornet, the arrow tore through the air toward Bartholomew Cubbins. Grr-zap! The sharp arrowhead bit through his hat and carried it off, on and on for a full half-mile. Grr-zap! It plunked to the stop in the heart of an oak tree. Yet there on Bartholomew's head sat another hat.
It's black magic.
Black magic! That's just what it is. I should have thought of that before. That makes things simple. Back to the throne room. Call my magicians.
Dig a hole 5 furlongs deep.
Down to where the night snakes creep.
Mix and mold the mystic mud.
Malber.
Balber, Titter,
Dud.
Stop this useless muttering. I want a chance that will charm away this boy's hat.
Winky Bus.
Tinky Bus,
Fatiche.
Play.
hat on this demon's head.
Fly far away. Howl men. Howl away.
Howl away, howl away.
Yowl cats. Yowl away.
Hat on this demon's head.
Seep away.
Creep away.
Leap away.
Leap away.
Never come back.
A mighty good chant. Are you sure it will work?
The magicians nodded.
But there still seems to be a hat upon his head. How long will it take for the charm to work?
Be calm, O sire, and have no fears. Our charm will work in 10 short years.
10 years? Away, fools! This, out of my sight. I can't wait 10 years to get rid of this boy's hat. Oh dear, what can I do? What can I do?
If I were king, I'd chop off his head.
A dreadful thought, but I'm afraid I'll have to. Young man, march down those steps to the dungeon and tell the executioner to chop off your heads.
Bartholomew's heart sank into his boots, but he did as the king commanded.
I must take off my hat. This is my last chance.
One hat after another he tore from his head as he descended into the dungeon.
156, 157, 158,
It grew colder and damper.
217, 218, 219,
Down, down, down.
231, 232, 233.
Who's there?
The king says you must chop off my head.
Oh, I'd hate to. You seem like a nice boy.
Well, the king says you have to, so please get it over with.
All right, but first you have to take off your hat.
Why?
I don't know. It's just one of the rules. I can't execute anyone with his hat on.
All right, you take it off for me.
The executioner leaned across the chopping block and flipped off Bartholomew's hat. But there sat another hat on Bartholomew's head.
What's this?
Then he flipped this one off. Then another. And another.
Ah, fiddlesticks! I can't execute you at all. You better go back upstairs to the king.
The king had been taking a nap on the throne, and he was angry at being awakened.
What are you doing back here?
I'm sorry, your majesty, but my head can't come off with my hat on. It's against the rules.
So it can't. How many hats does it make altogether?
The executioner knocked off 13, and I left 178 more on the dungeon steps.
346 hats.
Uncle Derwin, I suppose I'll have to do away with him. Send him up to the highest turret, and I, in person, will push him off.
Wilfred, I'm surprised at you. But I guess it is a good idea.
So the king led Bartholomew Cubbins towards the highest turret. Up and up and up the turret stairs he climbed behind them, and behind him puffed Sir Ulrich.
This is my very last chance.
He snatched off his hat.
347.
He snatched off another. He pulled and he tore and he flung them behind him.
398, 399.
His arms ached from pulling off hats, but still the hats came.
448, 449, 450.
Suddenly, Sir Ulrich stopped. He looked. He took off his triangular spectacles and wiped them on his sleeve. And then he looked again. The hats had begun to change.
Hat 451 has not one, but 2 feathers, and hat 452 has 3, and hat 453 also has 3 and a little red jewel. Why, each new hat is fancier than the hat just before. Your Majesty, Your Majesty!
But the king and Wilfred were way up where they couldn't hear. They had already reached the top of the highest turret. Bartholomew was following just behind.
Step right out there and get on that wall. I can't wait to push you off.
But when Bartholomew stepped on the wall, they gasped in amazement. He was wearing the most beautiful hat that had ever been seen in the whole kingdom of Did.
It had a ruby larger than any the king himself had ever owned.
It had ostrich plumes and cockatoo plumes and mockingbird plumes and paradise plumes.
Besides such hat, even the king's crown seemed like nothing. But Wilfred took a quick step forward, and Bartholomew thought his end had come at last.
Wait!
I won't wait. I'm gonna push him off now. That new big hat makes me madder than ever.
This is to teach you that nephews should never talk back to their king.
And he turned Wilfred over his knee and spanked him soundly, right on the seat of his royal silk pants.
Let me help you down, young man. And now, it'd be nice if you'd sell me that wonderful hat.
498, 499, and that makes exactly 500.
500! Will you sell it for 500 pieces of gold?
Anything you say, sire. You see, I've never sold one before.
The king's hands trembled with joy as he reached for the hat. Slowly, slowly, Bartholomew felt the weight of the great hat lifting from his head. He held his breath. Then suddenly, he felt the cool evening breezes blow through his hair. The head of Bartholomew Cubbins was bare.
Look, Your Majesty, look!
No! You look at me!
And the king put the great hat on right over his crown. Then arm in arm, the king and Bartholomew went down to the counting room to count out the gold. Then the king sent Bartholomew home to his parents. No basket on his arm, no hat on his head, but with 500 pieces of gold in a bag.
And the king commanded that the hat he had bought, and all the other hats too, be kept forever in a great crystal case by the side of his throne.
But neither Bartholomew Cubbins, nor King Darwin himself, nor anyone else in the kingdom of Did could ever explain how the strange thing had happened. They could only say it just happened to happen, and it was not very likely to happen again.
The end.
Do you like green eggs and ham?
I do not like them, Sam I am.
Our next piece is
Dr. Seuss's
Green eggs and ham. I am Sam. Sam I am.
That's Sam I am.
That's Sam I am.
I do not like.
That's Sam I am.
Do you like green eggs and ham?
I do not like them.
Sam I am.
I do not like green eggs and ham.
Would you like them here or there?
I would not like them here or there.
I would not like them anywhere.
I do not like green eggs and ham.
I do not like them, Sam I am.
Would you like them in a house?
Would you like them with a mouse?
I do not like them in a house.
I do not like them with a mouse.
I do not like them here or there.
I do not like them anywhere.
I do not like green eggs and ham.
I do not like them, Sam I am.
Would you eat them in a box?
Would you eat them with a fox?
Not in a box.
Not with the fox.
Not in a house.
Not with a mouse.
I would not eat them here or there.
I would not eat them anywhere.
I would not eat green eggs and ham.
I do not like them.
Sam I am.
Would you? Could you?
In a car?
Eat them, eat them.
Here they are.
I would not.
Could not.
In a car?
You may like them.
You will see.
You may like them in a tree.
I would not in a tree.
I would not, could not in a tree.
Not in a car.
You let me be.
I do not like them in a box.
I do not like them with a fox.
I do not like them in a house.
I do not like them with a mouse.
I do not like them here or there.
I do not like them anywhere.
I do not like green eggs and ham.
I do not like them.
Sam I am.
A train! A train!
A train, a train.
Could you?
Would you?
On a train?
Not on a train, not in a tree.
Not in a car, Sam, let me be.
I would not, could not in a box.
I could not, would not with a fox.
I will not eat them with a mouse.
I will not eat them in a house.
I will not eat them here or there.
I will not eat them anywhere.
I do not like them.
Sam I am.
Say, in the dark? Here in the dark.
Would you? Could you? In the dark?
I would not, could not in the dark.
Would you, could you in the rain?
I would not, could not in the rain.
Not in the dark, not on a train.
Not in a car, not in a tree.
I do not like them, Sam, you see.
Not in a house, not in a box.
Not with a mouse, not with a fox.
I will not eat them here or there.
I do not like them anywhere.
You do not like green eggs and ham?
I do not like them.
Sam I am.
Could you? Would you? With a goat?
I would not, could not with a goat.
Would you, could you, on a boat?
I could not, would not on a boat.
I will not with a goat.
I will not eat them in the rain.
I will not eat them on a train.
Not in the dark, not in a tree.
Not in a car.
You let me be.
I do not like them in a box.
I do not like them with a fox. I will not eat them in a house.
I do not like them with a mouse.
I do not like them here or there.
I do not like them anywhere.
I do not like green eggs and ham.
I do not like them.
Sam, I am.
You do not like them.
So you say.
Try them, try them.
And you may.
Try them and you may, I say.
Sam,
If you will let me be.
I will try them. You will see.
Say,
I like green eggs and ham.
I do. I like them, Sam, I am.
And I would eat them in a boat.
And I would eat them with a goat.
And I will eat them in the rain.
and in the dark, and on a train.
And in a car, and in a tree.
They are so good, you see.
So I will eat them in a box.
And I will eat them with a fox.
And I will eat them in a house.
And I will eat them with a mouse.
And I will eat them here and there.
Say, I'll eat them anywhere.
I do so like green eggs and ham.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sam, I am. The end.
Our final presentation is The Cat in the Hat by Dr. Seuss.
Enjoy.
The sun did not shine.
It was too wet to play.
So we sat in the house all that cold, cold, wet day.
I sat there with Sally.
We sat there, we too.
And I said, how I wish we had something to do.
Too wet to go out.
Too cold to play ball.
So we sat in the house. We did
did
nothing
nothing
at
at
all. So all we could do was to sit.
Sit.
And we did not like it.
Not one little bit.
And then something went
Bump.
How that bump made us jump.
We looked.
Then we saw him step in on the mat.
We
looked.
looked.
And we saw him.
The cat in the hat.
And he said to us,
Why do you sit there like that? I know it is wet and the sun is not sunny, but we can have lots of good fun that is funny. I know some good games we could play.
Said the cat.
I know some new tricks.
Said the cat in the hat.
A lot of good tricks. I will show them to you. Your mother will not mind at all if I do.
then Sally and I did not know what to say.
Our mother was out of the house for the day.
But our fish said,
No. Make that cat go away. Tell that cat in the hat you do not want to play. He should not be here.
He should not be about.
He should not be here when your mother is out.
Now, have no fear.
Said the cat.
My tricks are not bad.
Said the cat in the hat.
Why, we can have lots of good fun if you wish, with a game that I call
Up,
with a fish.
Put me down.
Said the fish.
This is no fun at all. Put me down.
Said the fish.
I do not wish to fall.
Have no fear.
Said the cat.
I will not let you fall. I will hold you up high as I stand on a ball, with a book on one hand and a cup on my hat. But that is not all I can do.
Said the cat.
Look at me now.
Said the cat.
With a cup and a cake on the top of my hat, I can hold up.
2 books.
I can hold up.
The fish.
and a little toy ship.
And some milk on a dish.
And look,
I can hop up and down on the ball.
But that is not all.
Oh no, that is not all. Look at me.
Look at me now.
It is
fun
fun
to
to
have
have
fun.
fun.
but you have to know how.
I can hold up the cup and the milk and the cake. I can hold up these books.
And the fish on a rake.
I can hold up
Toy
toy
ship
ship and the little toy man.
And look,
With my tail, I can hold a red fan. I can fan with the fan as I hop on the ball.
But that is not all. Oh no, that is not all.
that is what the cat said.
Then he fell on his head.
He came down with a bump from up there on the ball.
And Sally and I,
We saw all the things fall, and our fish came down too.
He fell into a pot. He said,
Do I like this? Oh, no, I do not. This is not a good game.
said our fish as he lit.
No, I do not like it. Not,
Not
one
one
little
little
bit. Now look what you did.
Said the fish to the cat.
Now look at this house. Look at this. Look at
at
that.
you sank our toy ship, sank it deep in the cake.
You shook up our house and you bent our new rake.
You should not be here when our
your
mother
mother
is
is
not.
not.
You get out of this house.
Said the fish in the pot.
But I like to be here. Oh, I like it a lot.
Said the cat in the hat to the fish in the pot.
I will not go away. I do not wish to go. And so,
Said the cat in the hat.
so, I will show you another good game that I know.
And then he ran out,
And then
fast as a fox.
the cat in the hat came back in with a box.
A big red wood box.
It was shut with a hook.
Now look at this trick.
Said the cat.
Take a look.
And he got up on top with the tip of his hat.
I call this game fun in a box.
Said the cat.
In this box are
Two things.
I will show them to you now. You will like these
Two things.
said the cat.
With a bow.
I will pick up the hook. You will see something new.
Two things.
And I call them.
Thing one.
And thing two.
These things will not bite you.
They want to have fun.
Then
Out of the box came.
Thing two and
Thing one.
And they ran to us fast. They said,
How do you do? Would you like to?
shake hands with.
Thing one and
Thing two.
And Sally and I did not know what to do.
so we had to shake hands with.
Thing one and
Thing two.
We shook their two hands, but our fish said,
No, those things should not be in this house. Make them go. They should not be here when your mother is not. Put them out. Put them out.
said the fish in the pot,
Have no fear, little fish.
said the cat in the hat.
These things are good things.
And he gave them a pat.
They are tame.
Oh, so tame.
They have come here to play.
They will give you some fun on this wet day.
Now here is a game that they like.
Said the cat.
They like to fly kites.
Said the cat in the hat,
No, not in the house.
said the fish in the pot.
They should not fly the kites in the house. They should not. Oh, the things they will
bump.
bump. Oh, the things they will hit. Oh, I do not like it.
Not
Not
one
one little bit.
Then Sally and I
Saw them run down the hall. We saw those two things bump their kites on the wall.
Bump, thump, thump, bump. Down the wall and in the hall.
Thing two.
And thing one. They ran up. They ran down.
on the string of one kite.
We saw Mother's new gown, her gown with the dots that are pink, white, and red,
Then we saw one kite bump.
on the head of her bed,
Then those things ran about.
With big bumps.
Jumps.
And kicks.
and with hops.
And big thumps.
And all kinds of
bad
bad
tricks.
And I said, I do not like the way that they play.
If Mother could see this, oh, what would she say?
Then our fish said,
Look!
And our fish shook with fear.
Your mother is on her way home. Do you hear?
Oh, what will she do to us?
what will she say?
Oh, she will not like it to find us this way. So do something fast.
Said the fish.
Do you hear? I saw her, your mother. Your mother is near. So as fast as you can, think of something to do. You will have to get rid of.
Thing one.
And thing two.
So as fast as I could, I went after my net. And I said, with my net, I can get them, I bet. I bet with my net, I can get those things yet. Then I let down my net,
It came down with a plop.
and I had them.
At last.
Those two things had to stop.
Then I said to the cat, now you do as I say. You pack up those things.
And you take them away.
Oh dear,
Said the cat.
we did not like our game. Oh dear, what a shame.
What a shame,
What a shame.
Then he shut up the things in the box with the hook.
Then the cat went away.
with a sad kind of look.
This is good.
Said the fish.
He has gone away.
Yes.
But your mother will come. She will find this big mess, and this mess is so big and so deep and so tall.
We cannot pick it up.
There is no way at all.
And then
Who was back in the house?
Why, the cat,
Have no fear of this mess.
said the cat in the hat.
I always pick up all my playthings, and so I'll show you another good trick that I know.
Then
We saw him pick up all the things that were down,
he picked up the cake,
and the rake and the gown,
And the milk and the strings.
and the books and the dish.
And the fan and the cup
and the ship,
and the fish.
and he put them away. Then he said,
That is that,
and then he was gone.
with the tip of his hat.
Then our mother came in, and she said to us two,
Did you have any fun? Tell me, what did you do?
and Sally and I did not know what to say.
should we tell her the things that went on there that day?
Should we tell her about it?
Now, what should we do?
Well, what would you do if your mother asked you?
The end. That's it for the cat in the hat.
I must say,
Haven't we had lots of fun?
On this day,
Thank you for joining us.
And remember this too.
we love reading books.
And you should too.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Ciao.
Au revoir.
Adios.
Arrivederci.
Goodbye.
Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Here come bad news, talking this and that. Well, give me all you got and don't hold it back. Clap along